What's his 2 days on record? My day off. Raining. Marvellous. Now, a quick review of Wednesday against Rayo Vallecano. Rayo. I know it's only a friendly game, you don't really take much out of it, but first chance to have a look at our new players in action for me, and also have a look at our new kit, which looked absolutely fantastic. No Mugsies, by the way, finished 12th last season in La Liga. I mean, you look at some of the teams above them there, Atletico, Valencia, Barcelona, famous names in European football. So 12th in La Liga, these were no mugs, and it were going to provide a real test. Wednesday lined up with a 3-5-2, but it's tweaked slightly, and Bannon was in a lot higher position. He was playing that higher up the park last season anyway, but he really started this game in a proper number 10 position. So this was the Wednesday team, starting the net for the new signing David Stockdale. Back three, Dominic Iorfa, sporting a flash of blonde hair, Ben Hennigan in the middle, and Fami Weo on the left-hand side. Yes, I am going with a W this time, and I will continue to do so until told otherwise. Midfield, it was Hunt and Marvin Johnson in the wide wing-back positions, as much as expected. Probably a little bit of surprise in the middle, although Volk started, and I thought he'd start probably in a defensive midfield position to replace Luongo, with Adeniran and Bannon slightly in front of him. It was actually more of a 2, with Adeniran in there, with Volks and Bannon, as I've said, in that advanced position up there, behind the front pairing of Lee Gregory and Josh Windass. Quite interesting that when Rayo were playing out from the back, which they tried to, it would almost like cliche standard Spanish football, keeper rolling it about. Bannon was pressing right up there, and Gregory, Windass and Bannon were making a 3 and spread right across, trying to stop them passes coming out from the back. It's an interesting one, that setup with somebody really pushed up behind the strikers. In my comments for the last video, which I did, we're talking about tactics. I'll try and put link up here in case you haven't seen it. In the comments, a lot of you were saying that's the sort of position that you'd really like to see Windass playing in, because a lot of you don't really consider him an out-and-out striker and think that his running from deep will cause problems, which I happen to agree with. And maybe it's something we'll see when Smith is in the starting lineup with Gregory, although that means Bannon dropping further back. Does that get best out of him? Anyway, Rayo lined up with a 4-2-3-1, so this is how the teams matched up across the park. The main thing about these games is getting your match fitness up and making sure nobody gets injured. But as friendlies go, I thought it were quite competitive. Quite a lot of tackles going in, few slide tackles going in, and I like that because usually these games are a bit of a as a spectator. It was interesting to see the 3 centre halves lined up like that. Iorfa was seeing a lot of the ball, hell of a lot of the ball, and at times he was driving up the pitch, which we know he can do. He's got that rangy movement, and I know he's caught a lot of people's eye with that. A bit panicky for me, with the ball at feet. He's still a bit Bambi for me. Won loads of headers and got a great footing, and of course he's got that key weapon in a back line, and whether it's a forward or a 3, he's got that recovery pace to get back in position when you get caught out. But he saw a hell of a lot of the ball, and he did drive us up the pitch and get things going. But like I said, just a little bit Bambi for me sometimes with the ball and the use of the ball. But he caught the eye, as did the other lad, Hennigan. I was really looking forward to seeing this lad, because we know from his Wimbledon that he'll win headers, he'll win tackles, but he was also a lot more composed on the ball than I was expecting him to be. I thought he used the ball really well, and there's a spell in the second half, he hits a shot from about 30 yards that I think most strikers would have been proud of it. A lot of centre halves, when they're having a shot at goal, they're scuffers, aren't they? I can't imagine Louvens or Lees or whoever being able to strike a shot like he hit that one. Really impressed with him. On the other side, Fameo, like him, left foot, give us a really good balance up that side, and I thought he linked really well with Marvin Johnson. And we don't get that coming inside. I know a few times last season we had to play Hutchinson out there and Palmer out there, and there is that tendency, which is natural, it's not their fault, but they will come inside looking for a pass, and often, especially when teams are playing against us, they're going to try and congest that midfield area. So when your left side centre half's coming inside and looking for his passes in there, it can be into a minefield. So having Famiao on that side with that left foot, it just gives that balance, and I like the way he linked with Johnson. Won a lot of good headers as well. He's a big unit. I liked him, and I thought all the back three, I'm quite impressed with what I saw there. Also made a fantastic block first half. Chucked himself in there. I'm not sure he didn't take one in the bollocks. As you know, I'm a big fan of defenders who do that, even in a friendly game. In fact, maybe especially in a friendly game, because it don't matter if you win or lose, does it? But it's that desire to stop the ball going in the back of the net, and I like that in a defender. Ennigan too produced a brilliant block, and he actually executed a fantastic slide tackle in box, which, I mean, the risky ones them, aren't they? Whatever the game. Brilliantly timed tackle. Really very impressed with how signings Darren Moores made there. And these were a slick unit, these, by the way. These were moving the ball about really, really well. Not that it matters, but we go a goal down, it's a corner that gets knocked back out, and then it's drilled in, and there's literally nobody there, actually. And Jack Hunt sort of caught flat-footed. I think all his weight's on one leg, and he just sort of hits him and goes in. Not that it matters, but it's a scruffy goal to concede. But we had our own little spells. Windass stretched him a couple of times with his hard running and his pace, and there was some good hold-up play from Gregory. Volks, I thought, looked a little bit off the pace, if I'm perfectly honest with you. Don't know how much pre-season he's had in terms of fitness or whatever, but I thought he looked a little bit off. Bannon was the main player again, obviously trying to get things going, and with his range of passing, whatever, prompting things behind that front pair. And overall, I thought it was a decent workout for us. I thought Adeniran looked good. I thought we realised, seeing that yesterday, what we missed with Dennis, because he had that injury last season. I think he missed 16, 17 games, whatever, overall during the season. But I think we forget how well he started last season, and he was really just growing when he ended up with that spell out of the side. And he's got some real energy and legs in there. Not afraid to get a shot away as well. Did that several times. Scuffed nearly all of them and daisy crutted them, but it's that willingness to drive on and get a shot away from midfield, which I like that. That was good to look at. Mind you, it's only friendly, so it don't matter, but Wednesday clearly wanted to play the ball out from the back themselves, the same as Rayo were. There seems to be a comfort, don't they, with a lot of these foreign teams when they're playing out from the back, because they brought up that way from being kids, aren't they? When we're playing ball out from back, there's that slight apprehension I always have, especially when, and it happened again yesterday, particularly in first half, our defenders get the ball, but they always seem to be facing back towards our goalkeeper. You know, you see other teams who play out from back, teams that are used to it, they're facing forward with the ball and they've always got an option. I think a lot of times yesterday, our defenders had got the ball, they'd got the head up, and then it was like, oh, actually, no, Stockdale's going to have it back. And there was one little spell, he sort of went out to the left-hand side, into the middle, over to the right, all the way back across again. And then it ended up with Stockdale having to look to receive the ball. He was so far wide. You know, another couple of steps, he'd have been going up that disabled access ramp in front of North Stand. He was that wide. And stuff like that panics me a little bit. Can't help it, just the way I am. So, a little bit of apprehension sometimes. They were trying to do it, but not quite comfortable, for my money. We only had a decent half, although we went in 1-0 down. I thought it was a decent workout. Like I said, there were a lot of good tackles going in midfield. Dennis were getting involved in some tussles, and as friendlies go, I thought, yeah, it was actually a decent spectacle. I'm a big fan of George Byers. Now, I probably shouldn't be, because I've got this thing that I like players who play the ball into space, not into feet. But what I like about George Byers is he does it bloody quickly. In fact, I'm going to start calling him Two Touch George. That's going to be his new name for me this season, because some players get the ball, they'll have a touch, they'll have a look, and they'll have another little touch. Oh, shall I go that way? By the time they finish fanning about and had 9 touches, they end up just making a square pass anyway, and all opposition defenders are back. And that's what I like about Byers. Quite often he'll play the way he's facing. Sometimes he'll just use himself as a wall for somebody for a little 1-2. Never more than 3 touches, ever. In, look, gone. In, bang. In, bang. 1-2 touch all the time. And a player like George Byers, he helps lift the tempo of the attack. And that's key. It's going to be key in this division because teams are going to get men behind ball every bloody day at week. So a player like him who zips the ball and it's always moving about, I like that. I mean, I like quick football anyway, but I thought Wednesday's midfield momentum was better with George Byers in the second half. Although again, he was in a sort of deeper line role. He almost at times was sort of playing in front of the back four. And in front of the back four, in your head, you've got Luongo in mind, players like that. From the era when I first started really getting into football full on, Ince, Batty, do you know what I mean? Them players will sit in front of the back four just winning tackles and hammering people. But he does it in a different way. Receive, turn, gone. The reason he's so good at it, and watch him all season, watch him all last season, and keep an eye for it this season. He's always looking before he's got the ball. Someone else has got it over there, and he's just like that all the time. So then when it does come, bang, gone. It's not even had to. So really like him. I'm turning this into a bloody Byers love fest again, aren't I? Palmer come on at left-sided centre half for a spell. There were a lot of changes in the second half which disrupted it a little bit. Although, to be fair to both teams, they both still kept going at it. And again, a lot of times, Palmer will try and go on his left foot where he can, but there's a lot of them inside passes, and this is what I talked about before with Famiero. There's that balance it brings. We saw it last season in the odd appearances that Gibson made. It does make a huge difference. Like Stockdale, he's got a calm assurance about him. Calmer than me, because I don't like ball being passed about near that 18-yard box. I don't like that at all. It's too much bad history with it. But he's got a calm assurance about him, and I like that. I could see him organising, and he's a bloke, isn't he? He looks like a bloke, a comfy pair of hands. So I liked him. Made actually one really blinding save at end of first half, which it looked like it was going in all ends up, but he got his fingertips to it. So yeah, impressed with Stockdale. Experienced, isn't he? 36, been around the block, and we saw already that he's not afraid to keep hold of the ball when it's required. So that's something that's going to be a useful weapon for us. As I said, a lot of changes second half. I mean, both teams were peppering shots, actually. I think that's the one thing I would say about Wednesday, was that didn't really test their key. A lot of shots, high, wide, dragged wide, screwed wide, but not really a lot on target. I thought Windass looked lively, sharp decision making. I think weren't always on point, as they say. A couple of times he squared it when I thought he should have probably took somebody on, because he has got that pace and drive. Gregory's link play were good, but second half a big raft of changes. One of the changes was Delabashiro. Talked in my last video about Delabashiro and the Blackpool bid. I'll try and put a link up here, watch that if you haven't seen it. Talking about his potential and how it's very easy for us to forget that this lad's 21 years old, because he's a boy in a man's body. He really is. We also talked in that video about the weaknesses to his game. I don't think his passing's always the best. I thought his passing was really good yesterday, and his strength and the way he drives on. I think once more yesterday he showed what we were talking about, that the potential is in there for a very, very dangerous midfield player. He can get up and down, very strong, and yesterday I thought he used the ball better. We were playing little cute 1-2s and stuff that perhaps last season we didn't always see. And if that's a sign of things to come, I think it could be a big season for him, and I think we've absolutely done the right thing turning that bid down. He played, actually. He sort of come on and he played in that advanced position behind the strikers when Bannon come off, and I thought he looked quite dangerous there. I did. Although later in the game he ended up a bit deep, and I thought he was looking quite comfortable there, especially with Byers there finding him with his little passes. To concede another crappy goal, Hunt misjudges it and don't cut it out, and then it's really actually bad defending from three players, although only one of them is getting any of the blame from that. Can you guess who? I'll tell you what, I'll do another little video just about that goal in a bit. Sure sends up sometimes. Anyway, so 2-0. It's not really about the score, though, is it? It's about the content. It's about getting the fitness up. It's about getting the movement, getting the little interplays and the different phases from attacking and defending. So 2-0 down. But like I said, these are a slick outfit and they use the ball really well. So it was a good test for us in that sense. So and Patterson come on up top. Patterson does what he does. He's an handful. Suddenly the game got a bit scruffy up that top end of the pitch. And Sol's a player that I really don't know what he is. I'm not sure he knows what he is. Is he a striker? I don't know. Is he a winger? I don't think his final ball's the best. He can do something really good. He can turn quickly and sharply and defender will fall off it, and then he'll not put the best cross in, or he'll go on a little mazy run and beat two men and then always lose it to third, and it's just that little final decision or that little final moment of quality. I don't know what he is, although he is ours. I think probably the best bet, genuinely for me, is if we've got any notions of keeping hold of him, I'll probably get him out for 6 months and say, go on loan somewhere 6 months till January, just sharpen up, go and get some games, start finding it back at net, get a rhythm, because he has been used intermittently, and to be fair, whether he's a great footballer or a poor footballer, whatever it is, if you're just coming in 10 minutes here and there, but 10 minutes on left wing, 10 minutes on right wing, 5 minutes in all, you don't get that momentum, and so is ours. And if we are keeping it, I'd say, right, go out for 6 months, get some games somewhere, we'll have a 24-hour recall on you in case we get short. Just go and get some games under your belt. Speaking of games under the belt, Alex Hunt come on at the end. God, it would a mess at the end. I don't know what that system word actually. I'll very quickly talk about that. Now, obviously, Darren Moores, it's about fitness. The main thing is, and I'll say this again, I've said it a couple of times already, the main thing is getting through this game with a little bit of fitness and nobody getting injured. That is the main thing. So, goal achieved on that. So, everybody's getting around that. It was a little bit messy at the end. Now, I don't know what the formation was at the end. I think it was supposed to be still a 3-5-2. Reece James came on, and Palmer went to right wing back, so I thought, so Reece James gone to left centre half, but people have a natural drift towards the favoured position, the most natural position. So Brown came on, Reece James came on, and those two seem to be about 3 yards apart, both of them. It was like a left back and a left winger. Iofa was still stretched right over on the right hand side. Hennigan were quite often on his own in middle, with Byers probably near this man. Hunt and Derbyshire were sort of in middle. Sometimes Byers was like an anchor man. Sometimes Derbyshire were like behind the front too. Patterson kept having to drift out to right to help Palmer, and it was all got a little bit messy in the end. But I mention it because there were times when it actually did turn into a back four. So we've got James at left back, Hennigan, Iofa, Palmer. Patterson had sort of dropped back to right wing, Brown on left wing, the three in the middle, and sort of Sol on his own up front. So at times it was like a 4-5-1. Whether that was by accident or design, I don't know. I'm not saying he went, yeah, let's go to a back four. Like I said, I think people have a tendency to drift into the natural position. So James and Brown in touching distance on left, Palmer's quite advanced on right, Iofa's still marauding, and it would all a bit. But at times it was It was a 4, and sometimes it was a 3 with Byers. Sorry, accident or design, I don't know, because we'd made a lot of changes, they'd made a lot of changes, and that can happen in a game. It does make it a bit scrappy. Yeah, bastardised 4-4-2. Anyway, because it all got a bit scrappy and messy, it actually made it harder for them to pick us up, I think, and we had a little probably spell of 10 minutes where I thought, oh, we're actually really causing them some problems here. A bit more dynamic. Obviously, Derbyshire will add to that dynamism in midfield. Byers with his quick 1-2 touch passing. And also the third part of that, I thought, as well as the formation being was Alex Hunt. I talked a lot last season, probably the season before, even though I weren't doing videos. I like players who play the ball into space. I'm not a big fan of this feet all the time stuff. It doesn't do it for me. I like to see teams split. 2 or 3 times yesterday, Alex made a real impression on that game. The first one was an absolute killer ball between the fullback and the centre half, right into the channel. I think it was Palmer or so to get on the end of. Absolute defence splitter. Did one about 2 minutes later in midfield. Little drop shoulder, and a threaded pass just took 2 men out of the game. I love to see them passes. Of course, you've got to have runners. If you ain't got runners and you're a midfield player and you make that pass, they make you look like a twat. It just looks like you're giving ball away. But if you've got players who know you can find them with a pass and they make them runs, I thought he was really incisive. Also, bidding corner flag when he put a player on his arse. I was really impressed with him. The kid's got vision. And I don't think that can always be taught. I really don't. So I think this is a big season for him in terms of what happens. I know a lot of people saying, oh, maybe he's going to have to move away and have a look at move away. But I really like the way he moves the ball. I really do. I think he's a proper footballer. And I hope he does get a little chance this season at some stage. It might not be week in, week out, but I expect it won't be with the likes of Verdeneren and Volks and whatever. But certainly in cup competitions, I'd like to see him play. And again, like I said, we saw earlier, is it go and get some games till January on a 24-hour recall, just keep your send tops up ready so you can step in. Like a lot of young players who's come through, have they got a future in club? I don't know, but I like the way he uses the ball anyway, so whatever happens there, good luck to that lad. Really liked him. Their friendlies can be dead rubbers, a little bit boring, folks strolling about, nobody wants to get injured, and that is the main bonus of this game. Nobody got injured, we got through it unscathed. But for what it was, a friendly match, I thought it was quite good. I thought there were times when people were really going at it, there were tackles going in, there were players really stretching it and trying to get at people with pace and going full pelt with pace rather than half pace, So it'll have been a useful workout for lads. Nobody's got injured. 2 poor goals. I think Darren Moores will be disappointed with them, but not that it really matters. And as I said, Rayo were a decent outfit, or a top flight Spanish club, so good workout. Few positives. Like the look of the new lads. Like Firmino, quite like the look of him. Brings a balance to the back line. Thought James, first look at him, neat and tidy. Like Ennigan, Ed, tackle, kick. Better on ball than I thought he was going to be. I like a tackler. He's a good tackler. Nice to see Iofa back. Like I said, a little bit Bambi for me when he's got ball at feet attacking. But again, defensively I thought he was good in air. Volks I thought looked a bit off the pace. Byers, super, love his quick sharp passing, and Dennis and Derbyshire, great to see them back, looking really sharp. I think there's real progress going to be made there with them 2 this season. I think what it did show tonight is the importance of Smith, though. I thought we just lacked a little bit at top end at pitch. We couldn't really go to a different option. I don't think we had that power, if you like, at top end at pitch, and maybe a little bit more dynamism down the flanks. But that'll come. And Marvin Johnson we know what he's capable of, showed us last season. And Jack Hunt took some stick, involved in both that goals conceded last night. I don't think he had a nightmare, and I think over his season you'll see the quality that he's got. So, yeah, step in the right direction. Bleeding long video for a friendly, this, isn't it? Could have been longer than all. Ooh. On Twitter last night. Oh, God. Kit looked fantastic. Pitch looked immaculate, actually. Excited. I think that's a decent team. I don't think that team will be far away come end of the season, as long as we can avoid these injuries. And I'll say it again, I said it last season, people can call Darren Moores for a lot of things, but he's the first manager we've had in years who lets players who are injured have the full recuperation time. He don't rush them back, and maybe we'll see the benefit of that this season, because keep them all together, 1 or 2 more additions, I think we'll be right up there. Anyway, I better got stuff to do. First review video this season. I forgot what it's like to do them, so it's been a bit of practice for me and all. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it. See you soon.